Hello, in this video, we're going to go through some of the settings that you have available to change in the system. So far, we've been all through ordering and seen different ways that we can change or modify an order. But how are the orders supposed to operate? Well, those are limited by the rules in the system. So to get there, I'm going to click on Admin at the top. And before we jump in, I do want to give a disclaimer. At the time of this recording, we've been in business for 14 years. So in that time period, we've developed hundreds of settings and hundreds of different features that can work in a combination of different ways. It can definitely be a little bit overwhelming at first, but that's why we're always available to help via your onboarding manager or our technical support team. We're always happy to assist with any changes, but we'd still recommend that you jump in and explore this. Learning anything does take some time and some practice, so it's worth coming in here and checking it out. And we'll also show you some of the more common tasks shortly, such as how to modify or edit or add items. Now that I'm on the admin tab, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the submenu here, and we're just going to check out a few of these sections. You don't necessarily need to follow along with this if you don't want to. Starting with general config, probably the most important one here is the company info. This company info, if we scroll down, such as your company name, address, website, phone, and email, this goes throughout the whole system. All the information that appears on your receipts or on your documents or on your website is all pulled from this area right here. So if something's wrong with the phone number or the email or those are going to change, you want to update them in the company info. By default, any receipts do get sent to the company email, and they send from the company receipt email. They come from this one and to this one. And I'll scroll up a little bit. If you do want some additional receipt copies, there's the send order receipt CC field right here. Just make sure that you separate any additional email addresses with a comma and a space. Also, under the general config menu, we have a few different integrations, such as QuickBooks and with TaxCloud. Let's move on to the next one, which is order config. We've talked about order reminders and order options during the checkout process. Here's how you can get in and modify those. And we do have knowledge base articles on them as well if you want to dig in a little bit more. The references is where customers can choose how they heard about your business. The setup services, where you could also include fees, like if you wanted to charge an extra $25 for setting up on Concrete. Coupons to run any promotions or discounts. And service areas, this is your list of cities that is appearing on your website. And another note, under the service areas, you can set up a few other options, such as you can have a specific travel fee for city or zip code, a minimum order amount for city or zip code, or a specific tax rate. If there's a conflict between the two, for example, you have one city that shares a zip code and they both have, let's say, a travel fee of $20 on the city, $30 on the zip code overrides the city. And I do want to show you another trick here in the control panel. By default, you are under this browse mode, and there is a pop-up box with more information. But let's say that you wanted to go through and add travel fees to all of your cities. Normally, you would click on them and then come in here and enter in a travel fee and then click submit or save. Both of them work, but save will just keep you on the same screen. So now we have that 20 in there. But what is way faster is to switch it from browse mode to spreadsheet mode. This will switch the appearance of it, as you can see. But the benefit is you can just click in these boxes as you go and make changes. So just depending upon the number of edits that you need to make, spreadsheet mode can be really useful, but the default view is browse mode. And then import and export is there. I would not recommend doing any imports unless you talk to our technical support team, just because we do want to make sure that the data is arranged in a specific format. Next up, we have the documents. We're going to cover this in the next video in a lot more detail. Same thing with the products. We'll show you how to set up some categories and set up some items. And then the rest of this really goes into configuration, such as schedule profiles and all the rules about how the system operates. Those are a little bit more advanced, and we will cover those in the system configuration training if you want some more details. But just as a rule for safety, don't change anything that you're not familiar with what it's doing, especially with some of the settings, because it could cause unintended consequences. We are always happy to help or answer any questions if you have them. And last but not least is the website tab. We do give you access to edit your own website. A lot of it is point and click, and we have different web sections that you can use to drag and drop over. You won't have access to edit your website until we've finished it. Once your website is completed, we can turn this field on for you if you request it. You also have the ability to add custom code or do custom coded sections if you are a web developer or more tech savvy in the website area. One last thing I'll show you, we do have miscellaneous order settings and miscellaneous settings. So general config, miscellaneous settings, order config, miscellaneous order settings. Both of these are the two key pages that determine how the whole system operates. You can read through these if you just want to see different options that you have. And as I can scroll through, you can see that we have a lot of settings. So that's where we would recommend we set it up for you. Just let us know how you do business and we'll configure it. But if you're hands-on, if you want to dig in more, if you want to know other options that you have, feel free to come in here and read through and just look at these different fields. We're happy to answer any questions if you have them, and just be careful about changing stuff unless you know what something's doing. Thank you so much for watching. We'll dig into your documents and items in the next couple of videos.